Hi people, today we'll be learning how to make this Agbada top. This top does not have side seams, but it has a link that connects the front and back piece together. So I'll be teaching us how to do that. Before we commence the tutorial, I would like us to follow us on all our social media handles. On Instagram, Welala. On Facebook, we have a page, it's still Welala. We have a group where we discuss together on how to make different types of dresses and clothes. That's cut and sew by Welala. And on Pinterest, you can also follow us, Welala. So let's get started. Now, to make this simple Agbada top, 2 yards of fabric is just perfect. That is your Ankara print. Okay, so now I'm going to fold it into two. This is my fabric here. The length of African print is 45 inches. So I'll just fold it into two, like so. And then I'm going to fold again into two again. So all together, I'm going to be having two folds. Yeah, this is the first fold, and I'll fold into two, making two folds. Okay, meaning we're going to be cutting the front and back together at the sides. Trust me, this tutorial is very beginner friendly, no too much drama. Yeah, so this is the edge of the fold at the top and at the sides. Okay, so the basic measurement you need here is just your across back measurement. So for me, I'm working with 7. That's my across back measurement. And then you're going to measure the length of your sleeve, as in the extension you want from your shoulder. Okay, so for me, the extension, I'll just use the remaining length of the fabric, which is about 16 inches. Okay, with my seam allowance and all of that. Yeah, so you have a rectangle. It's a very easy DIY, seriously. Next thing, I'm going to mark my neck width, which I'll be working with 3, because you can rock this with a shirt, so you don't want the neckline to be too wide. So that's 3 inches. Okay, then I'm going to be cutting out the back first. So I'll be marking the neck depth for the back, which is 1 inch, with my chalk. Okay, so I will use my French curve to draw the neckline. As a good dressmaker, you should have tools for everything. Okay, for drawing necklines, for drawing straight lines, whatever, you should have tools. So I'm just creating the neckline there. Okay, then of course this is the length of the agbada or top. The length actually depends on your choice, but this is about 33 inches thereabout. Now I'm going to measure the same thing at the hemline. First thing is half of your cross back, and then the 16 inches I measured, meaning we have a rectangle. Good. Okay, so next I'll be cutting on the neckline. Now I would not cut directly on my marking. I need to add seam allowance, so I'll just add ½ inch to what I just marked there. Okay, and then cut out the neckline for the back. So when we're done, I will now open up the fold to cut out the neckline for the front. Okay, so yeah, this is how the back neckline is going to look like. Now to cut the front neckline, okay, I'm going to create some notches here and there. I've opened up my dress or top, so I'll just notch there. So all those notches I'm notching the shoulder tip. They're just little notches. It will assist us when we want to cut the front neckline. Now I'm going to open up one of the pieces, fold and notch the center there. Okay, so I'm gonna create my notch there. Good. Then next thing, I'm also going to fold the neckline into 2 and create a notch. This way you are ensuring that everything is going to be all perfect. Okay, so I'm going to fold this into 2 now. That's the front piece. Now I will fold it into 2 and also notch the neckline. So here I'm folding that and I'm going to create my notch. I'm really taking my time to explain this because I know some of us are beginners, so at least we will be able to understand perfectly. Yeah, So next step now, I'm going to separate the front and back now. So I'll be folding the front piece into two. You can see that I've removed the back piece. This is the front piece, and I'll fold it and follow the notch point I made there. You can see my notches there. Same thing with the shoulder there. The notches have to meet. Okay, now for the front depth, the neck depth, you can actually do, you can play around this, but you shouldn't do anything less than 6 so that your head can pass through. There's no zipper on this top. Okay, so I'm going to do as low as probably 8 or 9. Okay, depending on what you want. So I'll just do 9. Then I'm going to carry my curved ruler. It has a ruler, as part of it. It's a multifunctional curve. Then I'm just going to link this to the points I marked there. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to cut out, and since I marked towards the seam allowance at the neckline in front, at the back I mean, so I'll just cut it together. Okay, so here now I have created the front neckline. Next thing now will be to cut out the facing, but let me just show us first what it looks like. So this is what it looks like there. Yeah, you can see the very sharp V for the front. So now we need to cut the facing for this. Now, like I always tell us, facing is a shorter version of your dress. So to cut the facing, you're going to fold the dress like that. You first of all fold the fabric. This is my fabric, another piece of fabric, and that is the fold. Then I will now place my dress on this fabric. Okay, but you would have folded the dress. So this part of the V-neck part is the front, and the back towards the other side. So I'm going to place this fold on the folded fabric I just made now. Okay, so once I place it, all I'll just do is I'm going to trace out the neckline, or I'll just cut out the neckline. I hope we are, we get what I'm explaining. So I'm just trying to place my fabric well. They must align so that you don't have issues of wanting to pleat because you have a little excess. Okay, so now I'm going to cut out the neckline. Okay, all I want to do is I'm going to trace out. Yeah, so I'm just tracing the neckline on the folded fabric I placed under my blouse. Okay, so now there. Then for the length of the facing, just play around with it, but don't make it too short. I always like my facings to be a bit longer so that I'm not struggling to tuck it in. So I'm just going to do probably 7-8 inches, okay, for the length of my facing. So I'm taking out the blouse now. Okay, so I will start my length from where the neckline ends. Like this front part now, it will start from where the V stops there. So I'll just use, this is about 11 inches, okay, for the front, and then the same thing for the back. That's the back there. So I'll start measuring from the back neckline. I also measure the same length, which is 11 inches. Okay, and the facing is as wide as my blouse. Okay, so I'm just cutting out. Yeah, so my facing is ready. Now we are going to start the sewing right away. The sewing is a bit tricky, but it's still simple. Yeah, so this is my facing. You can see that it's a shorter version of my top. Now I'm going to open up my top now. This is my top. This is the right side. I'm going to open it up. Then I will place my facing on it. This is my facing and the top. Okay, so I'm just going to open up my blouse. This is my blouse. I open it up. Then I'm going to place my facing on it, right side facing the right side of my blouse. Then you have to pin this, please, so that when you're sewing, there's no shift or error. Okay, so I'll just pin it and go ahead and sew. After sewing, you want to notch the edges. Okay, so here I finished sewing it, and make sure you notch the edges and iron properly. Now we're going to work on the edges of the top. Like I said previously, this top does not have a side seam. Now I'll just fold 1 inch like that and sew from one hemline to the other. Okay, same thing on the other side of my top there. I'm going to sew 1 inch, the roll hem. I'll be rolling as much as 1 inch on the other edge of my blouse. Yeah, this other edge here. Okay, so I'm just going to fold 1 inch like so and sew it round. Okay, so after sewing, this is what you are going to have, like that. So like I said, there is no side seam. We're going to create like a link, something to link the front and back piece together at the side. Okay, so it's really pretty simple. Okay, so to do that, you're going to cut out 2 pieces of fabric. I'll be showing us that right now. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be placing it at the edges of the blouse. So this is the first piece here. Okay, that side is on fold. So let me just show the measurements. This is about 7.5 inch by 16 inches, but it's on fold at the top there. So I'm going to take one side of the top of the piece, I beg your pardon, and attach it to one side of my blouse this way. Okay, so you want to just pin it down. I'm attaching it to just one side, so I'll just pin it at the top and at the lower part there. Then I'm going to attach the other end of the linkage there to the other end of my blouse. Okay, so there is no seam, there is no side seam, so you're definitely adding it to the wrong side. So I'm going to flip over my fabric to the other side, the wrong side now. Okay, this way. So I'll just pin them together like that. So after pinning, I will go ahead and sew. So please make sure you pin, and if you notice I have not sewn the hemline on the blouse yet, it is after attaching this linkage that I'll go ahead to sew the hemline. Okay, so this is how it's going to be. You can see yeah, you can see the link between the side seam. So now I'll go ahead and stitch separately, and I'll repeat the same thing on the other side of my dress. So here my blouse is ready. You can see it, and I've already torn the hemline of my blouse. The linkage is looking like a pocket actually. Yeah, so this is how the blouse looks like on my mannequin. You can see that it looks exactly like what is in the picture. It's a very simple tutorial. Do not forget to like, subscribe and share. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.